Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. In today's video, I'm actually jumping back to December daily, and I'm hopefully going to be working on 21 and 22 and 23 I still need to print, but it is ready to go. So I just need to print that. So hopefully those three. Christmas Day, I'm actually going to just use this pocket that I created for Allie Edwards' December daily prep class. Is that what it was called? Her prep class. So all I need to do is replace the photos in here and then write the journaling. And so that is going to be my day 25. So that will be easy to do. I do not have day 24, but I think it might just be a day of journaling. We'll have to see. I haven't actually even looked at my photos from Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. So that is a shame, but you know, that's just what happens when you're not like necessarily using them. I don't always go right to them and start editing. So still need to get to that, but hopefully today, 21, 22, and 23. So for 21, actually, I thought that all of these are going to be pretty easy. I think I'm just in that like phase of wanting to get it done since we are at the end of December. I have all this Christmas stuff out that I just want to get out of here. And I remember Allie she used this tag, and I think these numbers, if I remember correctly, I haven't gone back. And so I was thinking, you know what, I could just easily do a story and some, you know, a photo and a story and call it good. And so that is what I'm going to do there. I'm looking for 21. I was going to say, I hope I didn't use it, but why would I have used it already? Because I haven't used many of these. You know how it is. When you're looking for one, you can't find it. Alrighty. And I think I will put it inside the pocket. So the story for this day is about our advent calendar. So we started our advent calendar in 2009, and I actually went back. This is a photo from 2009, and then I have one from this year. And I thought that it would be really cool to stack them on top, you know, have like a flip so you could see the change of the year. And my journaling, which is right here, is all about how this was the last year we were going to do this advent calendar. So this advent calendar was really based on candy. So it was like bags filled with candy, and then every day they would take one, and the girls just weren't very interested in it. In fact, it'd be like 3 days would go by and no one would have taken, you know, one of the bags off of the days, which is really unheard of. For years, my kids, it was like the first thing they did when they woke up in the morning. And so I was just really surprised that they were not like as into it this year. And they said they just weren't into the candy. So it's not that they didn't want to do the advent, but rather they didn't want to eat the candy. And so we've decided to scrap that advent calendar, which treated us really well for 10 years, and to do something different now that the kids are a little bit older. So that is what this story is about, that this was our last year with that advent. And I feel really good about it. I think we all feel really good about it.
All right, so I'm going to speed things up here and I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing. But before that, I just wanted to say, I don't think we were all in agreement with what we were going to do with the advent calendar, because apparently when we moved, Megan asked me where the advent calendar was, and I was like, oh, I thought we were going to do something different this year. So she was really bummed that I had gotten rid of that advent calendar because it had been around for so many years. And I guess it wasn't a clear conversation, at least not with her, that this was going to be our last year with this advent calendar. So I feel really badly about that. But hopefully we can create something this year that will be just as great. But I get it. Like, obviously that advent had a lot of memories with it, and that's just not something you can replace. So I do feel badly that I made that mistake, but I am grateful that I have this story and I have all the photos from the last 10 years that we can remember how much joy came from this advent calendar. All right, so as I'm putting together this flip, what I realized was if I was going to add washi tape to the inside of this flip, I was going to cover up my daughter's head because the tape would have gone right over. I mean, it was just so close to the edge of the photo at the top. So I decided to create a flip using some vellum. So I actually did this in a project that I created for the Grateful or Gratitude story kit from last November. Kind of used some vellum as a hinge. And so I decided to do the same thing here. And it just makes it so it's invisible. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put the vellum on the back of the photo, well, on the back of both photos, and just create that hinge so it flips up without a problem. I could have probably put some washi at the top of the outside, but I didn't want to do that as well. I kind of wanted it to feel invisible. So I went ahead and did that. Okay, now the second issue with this flip is that it didn't go all the way down to the bottom. So these page protectors are a little bit longer. They're probably like 4.25, maybe. Yeah, they're about 4.25. So I ended up having to reprint those photos because it was just driving me crazy how much it was floating above the edge or the bottom of the page protector. So you'll see that at some point I stop the video and I go and do a few more printing. I end up printing also the journaling as well, reprinting that and cutting it out so it is just as big as the photo, so it didn't look too small in the page protector. So now you can see I am working on the number tag and trying to shove through my twine and some ribbon. It's always fun just to kind of go through your stash and pick, Christmassy ribbon that you've got. I've always got some type of red and white. So I'm just grabbing over my twine. I think this twine probably came like on a package or something like that. I'm always saving that kind of a thing for projects and things like that. So you can see actually on the top corner is my day 20, which I have 0 footage for. I don't know if I didn't film it because it was a lot of coloring, or if I did and I've just lost it. It's just been too long. I have no clue. I've searched for it. I can't find it. I can find everything else. So I have to think that I didn't actually film it, which was weird. That doesn't sound like something I would do during December Daily. So I will, in the end of this video, give you guys a walkthrough of days 20 through 23 because my footage gets cut off in the end, and you'll see that coming up. So I just kind of give you a walkthrough from October 2020, which is where we're at right now. Today's the 5th. Hopefully this video will be coming out on the 6th. And I don't know if I said this in the very beginning, but I actually filmed this on the 31st of January. So it was at the very end of that month, and you did hear me say that I just wanted to get rid of everything off of my desk. I was just kind of really wanting to get December Daily done so I could, take all of my supplies and everything and finally get it off my desk. But I never actually 100% finished this project, and I will before December starts. I just have a couple days to go, so I will definitely get this finished and make it a priority once I'm done with the product play class. Just a lot of pieces to that December Daily product play class. So if you are interested in taking that class that Allie does every year, I'm going to be a contributor this year, and I am going to be contributing with transparencies, which I thought would be easy, and it's turning out to be kind of hard because I feel like everything you can do with a transparency I've already done. I play a lot with transparencies because I really love the look of see-through. So I'm kind of interested to see all the things that I can come up with. So I'll definitely have a couple projects for you guys that you can work with, and some with a different varying of I don't want to say skill because it's not about skill. It would be like some are a little bit more simple than others might be a little bit more advanced, if that makes sense. Advanced is the wrong word. I don't know. Some might take more time than others. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. All right, so I am jumping into day 22. And for my day 22, it's all about gratitude. You can see that, well, I don't know if you can tell, but I've actually printed it wrong. So when I actually punch the holes, it's going to be too close to the type. So what I end up doing is stopping my camera. I'm going to do that in a second. Here we go. And I come back and I've reprinted all of my journaling. So I've printed, I think everything was printed fine. I just needed a little bit extra room. So I end up, trimming off this 4x6 correctly. And then like I said, I make that wonderful traditions card a little bit longer. It is about 4 1/4 in height. And then I also reprinted those photos, and you will see that in just a minute because I end up bringing those over and trimming them out with you guys as well. So I definitely apologize that you get to see that twice, but there you go. You get to see it twice. So while I'm doing this, I'll explain for day 22. It is all about gratitude. I always love to include a gratitude day in my December daily. And I don't think there's anything wrong with including more than one gratitude because there's just so much to be grateful for during the holidays. Something else I like to consider a lot is I was considering actually, to be honest, the things that were bringing me joy because that feels just very Christmassy. But I went with gratitude because what I wanted to do with joy, I just could not get the design right. So I think I'm going to try and do it for 2020. I'm crossing my fingers that I can actually make it work out because I was super, super, super excited to share with you guys. It was something I literally started in, I actually considered doing it for my product play class last year in 2019, but I just couldn't make it work with the assignment I was given. So I was like, okay, maybe I will do it in my album. And I just couldn't figure out the design. And for whatever reason, I just wanted it to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. So I got to let that go, but I'm excited to try it and hopefully I can do right by it. I feel like a lot of times I end up really loving the design. Like I can come up with the design in my head, but it's like I can't decorate it. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I'm so much better at like the architecture and I'm not really good at the decorating. That's how I feel about my house. I'm much better at saying, okay, let's do, these walls and these floors. But like, as far as like adding little bits and pieces and picking furniture and things like that, like I feel not so awesome at that part of it. And that's kind of how I feel about December Daily sometimes. And some of my projects is I feel like I have the bones, but I don't 100% know how to make those bones look good. So anyway, there you go. There is my confession for the video. Something that I am constantly working on and constantly hoping I will get better at as I continue just to make more stuff and make more stuff. So anyway, I don't know if you guys are like that too. Just I'd love to hear it if you feel like you're better at the bones or the decorating. I definitely feel better at the bones. All right, so I am just going to add one more thing onto this photo just to give it a little something. I was considering making it more like a tab, and actually, hindsight, thinking about it, I could have had that word chipboard, whatever that's called, word phrase chipboard, sticking out a little bit so it kind of looked like a tab, but I didn't really think about it. I kind of wanted it to be flush against the photo. So it's pretty obvious that the photo's on the outside and that there is a flip there. So I don't think anyone will have a hard time figuring that out. All right, so I'm trying to decide what to put on the back side of this tag. I really feel like this tag needs a little something. Now, I only just set the tag on the inside of the pocket. I didn't staple it on. I just stapled the number to it. So because the tag is made out of that plasticky material, it really sticks to the plastic of the page protector. So it hasn't moved at all. And what you're going to see is I'm going to grab over, I think it's a sticker that I end up using. It's not this sticker, but it ends up being a sticker from the 2018 Crate Paper Kit, Merry Days. That's what it is. Merry Days. I could not remember that from my last video. So I end up using one of those stickers. I love the designs of Crate Paper. I think they're very whimsical and really fun, and I always love the colors that they choose. So it's fun to be able to have a stash. I do have a lot of December daily supplies. As I was putting my December daily away last year, I was like, I really don't need to buy anything more, but you know, sometimes you just need a little bit to like refresh, right? So anyway, of course I had to buy some of the newer supplies. So anyway, I stuck on that sticker, and then I'm going to grab over some chipboard because I want to add one more thing, just one more bit of dimension. So I kind of play around with, do I want to add a star? You know, what do I want to add here? Putting some stuff down. You can see that I have got chipboard from, oh gosh, probably 15. Was that the first year I did this project? 2015. And you know what? You just keep using them until they're gone. And I guess you use them until you don't want to use them anymore, and then you can give them away to somebody else. But so far, I feel like all of the December daily products from the time that I have been buying them have been very relevant and very in design with, you know, my style. There are a few things like papers and things that I have given away, but for the most part, I've kept a lot of the embellishments. All right, so we are moving on. Now that we've done the back side, I'm actually pulling over day 23 because in order to put the holes or punch the holes in day 22, I want to do it the exact same time as my photo. So let me tell you a little bit about day 23 because, you know, day 22 is basically done. I just need to add a couple of embellishments. So in December, and I kind of alluded this, I think, in my last video, in December or right around Thanksgiving, maybe in November, this opportunity for moving to Seattle was on the table. And so I had this really distinct impression in November that we were going to be moving. And it was very peaceful, but it was also like this sad feeling because, you know, I love where I live. I've lived here forever, not this home, but I've lived in this state, in this city for a really long time. And so there was a little bit of sadness, but it was mostly peaceful. The sadness was that like, it's time to go, but I'm totally going to miss it. You know, that kind of sad. It was like a good kind. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like that good kind of sad. So during December, I decide that I'm going to do a story about this is going to be our last Christmas in this house. And so I took a picture with all the lights on, and like it was really snowy and it was really beautiful. And it's hard to see in, it is a dark photo actually. It's a little hard to see in the video, but it is a dark photo now that I'm looking at it. Like when I see it in person, it's pretty dark. But anyway, I had all these plans to do a story about this being our last December. It was going to be one of the days. I didn't know what day, but it was going to be one of the days. Well, at some point in December, and I can't remember the day, it is written down in a journal somewhere, the business that Adam was looking at kind of fell apart, or it didn't work out for whatever reason. And so moving to Seattle was no longer in the table, and that was not something that we were going to be doing. I was a little surprised and a little relieved at the same time, just because I felt like this was something that probably was going to happen. And so I never told that story. Well, come January, and this is how up and down my life has been for the last couple of years. Come January, Seattle was back on the table, and I'm working on this project. And what I decided to do, and let me pause for a second. I do know that I'm putting day 23 down on a day that's supposed to be day 22. I will fix it. Anyway, back to my story. So what I decided to do actually as I was working on this project in January is and this is not something I have ever done in my December daily. and I have worked on my December daily into the new year. I decided to write a story. So on day 23, I wrote the story with the perspective of the day that I wrote it, which was in January. And the story is basically what I just told you. It was about experiencing December, experiencing this holiday season in my house with my family, feeling like it was the very last time. And then it wasn't going to be the very last time. And then in January, as I'm writing it in real time, it ends up being the last time. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole saga of how many ups and downs there were coming to Seattle, because there were several. We're moving, we're not moving, we're moving, we're not moving. But what I ended up doing for day 23 was writing it from the perspective in January. And in January, we were moving again. And I talk about that story, and I talk about how much I appreciated my house and how much I loved it in the winter. And I even talk about being a little nervous and being a little afraid of, what is next. But just knowing that we'll be guided. And anyway, so that is what that story was about. I just wanted to kind of explain to you guys that I didn't write it from the perspective of my December story, because in December, if I had done this story, it would have been, we're not moving. But in January, it was, oh yeah, we're moving again. And that was our last Christmas in the house, and ultimately ended up being our last Christmas in the house. And I am so, so, so grateful that I took this photo and took the time to write this story. So I'm just going to say, write your stories, you guys, whether or not you're actually doing a December daily album. Get your journals out and write your stories, because you are going to want to remember these things. I'm telling you, you have no idea how long you're going to be in your house and in your area and in your city and in your state. And I've lived in Salt Lake City. I lived in Salt Lake for 44 years. And so for me, it was all just kind of like routine, and there were some mundane things to it. But you know what? I don't have that anymore. And I always want to remember that routine and that mundane. And if I never took pictures of the everyday, if I never remembered or chose to remember those routine type of mundane things, then they would just get lost in the years, that now that I'm in Seattle, I won't be doing those same things again. So just a big plug to write your stories, take your photos, document your life, even if it is in the most simple way, which is just writing it down with your hand in a book. At least you have got it, and you will, I promise you will not regret that. All right, so now that I'm off my soapbox, I'm jumping down to just show you how I'm working on my day 23. So obviously I have totally bypassed what I did for day 22, but you guys watched me do it, kind of put those gold stickers, which I absolutely love, those small, thin stickers onto a transparency. And here you can see that I'm remembering, oh, that is day 22. I've got to fix that. Luckily, it didn't ruin my sticker, so that I will be able to use day 23 again. So now I am looking at, how to add the number to this day. You saw also that I cut down that photo just because the transparency was a little bit too small. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, I actually really like the white. And I also like that it's sticking out of the album also. Anyway, I don't end up doing that. And I'm just going to keep working through it, looking for ways to add the number. I don't end up finishing I think I might have explained this already. My battery ends up dying. And so I am going to, at some point, I'm going to jump on to do this live. But before I do so, I want to just explain one thing, because I don't explain it to you as I'm doing it live. So I've already recorded that before I did the voiceover. Those numbers, that white 23 with the gold trim, I created that using the silhouette and the foil quill. So I have a video on my YouTube if you're interested to see how I did that. I actually lost the white 23. I don't know what happened to it. So that is another reason why you should just finish your pages while you're working on it. It actually sat undone for a couple of months, which is why I ended up losing it. Okay, you guys, as promised, I am showing you what day 23 ended up looking like. You can see that it's not very different from what I was just working on. It was really this 23. I loved the white 23, and for whatever reason, I ended up losing it. I think I ended up finally putting this book away in March because I knew I just wasn't gonna get to the rest of the album. So I just threw this day 23 down. I could switch this up because I'm not loving these two together. This is a very warm red. This is very cool red. So I'm considering making a switch there, but we will see. If I do end up changing it, you'll see with the walkthrough, but this is day 23. I just wanted to, before I go, show you all of the pages that we worked on in this video and then show you day 20, just because I don't have any footage for it. So I thought that I would show you on this video. If you remember, this is day 20 is on the back side of day 19, which is this large tag. This paper came from, I believe, the Paislee Press mini kit. And then these girls were created using a stamp set from Concord and Ninth. And all of these pieces are all different pieces from the stamp set. So the hair came separate, like in its own little stamp. The book, the mug, the scarf, everything came on its own stamp, so you can mix and match and make your own girls. So I made them to look like my girls. And one of the reasons why I invested in this kit is because I felt like they looked a lot like my girls. And so it was fun to put that together, and I loved the process of coloring it. I'm a big colorer. I love Copic, so that was fun to be able to play with that. And I love how that turned out. Then on the flip side, I just have an envelope with a letter to my girls. And then this is the number that I was just thinking about with the polka dots that I could replace for day 23. So we'll see if that happens. All right, so the next is day 21, which you saw me create. The flip up there. And then the back side. And then for day 22, which is the gratitude, you can see that I went ahead and I used a V because I didn't have the A, and I think it looks just as good. I just want to be able to use as many of these stickers as I can because it was one of my favorite from the year. And this, I didn't mention it, but this came in the kit. I believe I used the digital version, but this came in Ali Edwards' kit this year, this like leaf thing. And then on the back is day 23. So there you go, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I know there's lots of things you can do with your time, so I appreciate you being here. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments section below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me. And if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. All right, you guys, we will see you in the next one. Bye.